nothing but faith. There's things far too great that I want to accomplish. I'm hoping 25 hours a day, but something good works out, and I'm just like, dang. Think everything's gonna be okay. Yeah, I'm like, dang. Think you might just know the way. I'm like, dang.
Welcome to Dang.
Dang. I'm Todd Bridges.
And I'm Betty Jo. And today on Dang, we've got a very special guest, someone who's basically Todd's childhood partner in crime. You may recognize him as Bud from JAG and NCIS, or way back in the day as Andy from Little House on the Prairie. Please welcome actor and writer Patrick Labyorteaux.
Hey! What's up, man? How you doing?
Patrick and Todd literally grew up together on studio lots. So today we're digging into what it was really like being a child star in the 70s and 80s before social media, before TikTok.
My gosh. If we would have had social media, we could have made another billions of dollars off that mess. I wish we had that.
How did you guys meet?
Oh my God, how did we meet, Patrick?
We met on, at least I remember meeting on a TV movie called A Circle of Children.
That's right. That's where we met, The Circle of Children. That's right.
I've never heard of that.
Jane
TV
Alexander,
movie.
wasn't it?
What's that?
Was it Jane Alexander was in that, right?
Yeah, Jane Alexander, David Ogden Stiers.
It was like a TV movie?
Special school,
Yeah.
and they had all these kids, and that's where I met Todd.
Yeah. I had to play, we had to play a special child. I had to play.
Right.
So like
Back
a
in the
gifted
70s, we played
academy.
retarded, but now it's different.
Yeah, you can't say that. You have to say special.
Right.
Oh. See, when you say it like a special academy, I'm thinking like the X-Men.
No. It was,
Okay.
they didn't have CGI back then, so no. You were
No,
special.
I mean, every kid that I knew back, Kyle Richards was in it.
Yeah.
My brother was in it.
That's right.
Todd was in it.
Yeah.
And what was really fun was, obviously we went on to have careers, but we were basically paid extras, like, acting extras. And so we had all this time, and we would play cards and pick on the girls.
Yeah, we did. We did. That's when we didn't like girls back then, so you pick on them.
No, we didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you do when you were picking on them?
I don't remember.
Would you
that.
prank them?
Yeah, pretty sure prank them, probably mess with them.
I just remember they had at this one location, it used to be, there was this big walk-in safe, and we used to trap different kids, whether they were boys or girls, just different kids in this safe was like the big deal until somebody got their finger caught in it.
Oh yeah, that ended everything.
Yeah.
But I was listening to you talk one day, and you were giving up our secret about Jason Bateman. You have to tell that story, man. You got to tell that story.
Oh man, it's so true. I mean, I'm so glad that you remember it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of the times I'm telling these stories and I question myself, like, going, is this the way it really happened? Or so what happened is that I was on Little House on the Prairie. I was a regular on Little House on the Prairie for like 4 years, and then my family got written off, and I was not on the show anymore. Yeah. But I went to school with Jason Bateman, and Jason Bateman joined the show just as I was leaving. And so my brother was still on the show, so I would be on the set. So I knew Jason, I knew him from school, and I knew his sister, Justine, and it was just kind of like another kid actor. Yeah. This is my opinion. I stand by my opinion. Other people may have different opinions, and I appreciate that. But Jason and I did not get along, or Jason just was really mean to me. Yeah, I tell this story where no matter what would happen when we were at school, he would throw trash at me. I don't know where he got the trash. He always had something to throw at me. And he would call me a has-been because I was off the show, right? And so this hurt because I'm a kid actor. I'm just a kid. I lost a job. And I'm like, it really it hurt my feelings. And so at one point I was visiting Todd, or no, I think Matt was shooting Whiz Kids.
Oh yeah,
on the Universal lot, and you guys were still shooting Diff'rent Strokes
on that lot. Yeah.
And then you were there, and he was on either It's Your Movie or Silver Spoons.
I think he was on Silver Spoons. Yeah, he was on Silver Spoons. Yeah.
And Todd and I were hanging out, and outside the stage, and Jason comes along and starts messing with us. So there was a dumpster there and he was smaller. And so we just took him and we threw him in the dumpster.
I can see Todd doing that.
Oh yeah.
I stand by the story. You know,
Yeah.
it's so funny. It's one of the videos that I did, and it just blew up because people love to hear dirt on other people,
Yeah.
of course. And it's like, obviously half and half. It's like, he's not like that anymore. And it's like, well, I've got friends who know him, and yeah, he's like that. It's just, that's who he is. That's my opinion. Again, mine, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's just sort of like, run-ins with different people at different ages.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny because I saw him at when we did that thing on Diff'rent Strokes, the live Diff'rent Strokes.
Yeah.
But with me, Jason's always knows that everyone always knows not to mess with me. They know that I don't take anything from anybody.
Especially
right.
not if there's any dumpsters around.
No. We had lots of dumpsters on that set that time.
So
Before I forget,
Yeah, go
Dean
ahead.
Cameron wanted me to ask you about High School USA.
Oh my gosh, yes. You've never seen that film, have you?
I haven't. I've seen the poster that you have
Yeah,
for it,
it's
but I've never
it's
watched
such a
it.
fun film we did. And I'll tell you what, okay, I had just turned 18 years old and I didn't know what it was like to work as an adult, right?
Right.
And man, they worked me from sun up to sundown. And I remember that's back when they didn't work on Saturdays, right? They didn't work on
Right.
Saturdays back then. So it was always Monday through Friday and I was working 16, 17 hours a day. And I remember I woke up on one Saturday morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm late. And I'm running out the door and everyone's like, where are you going? I'm late for the show. I'm late, I can't be late. And they're like, dude, it's Saturday. I'm like, oh, okay. So I went back to bed.
So as an adult, you were working like 16, 17-hour days.
Yes.
As a kid though, what was the
Kid, you went to
restrictions?
school for 3 hours to 4 hours and then you worked for maybe 4 or 5 at the most.
At the most.
And
So,
you
Yeah,
were
you're
going
totally
home.
on the set for
Yeah.
8 hours. That's
Yeah.
all they have you
Yeah.
for.
so the first day, were you like, okay, 8 hours, I'm
Yeah,
leaving.
I thought it was like 4 o'clock. I was like, I'm out of here, man. They're like, no, you're not. You're 18. What? I'm like, what? What do you mean?
And
They're like,
also, you'd been working on a sitcom schedule where it's
Yes.
like show up at 10,
Yep.
rehearse, be done by 2.
oh yeah, thought I was gonna go home, and it was like, no. And they worked me like a slave. I wasn't used to that. I was
or
used to
just
that,
like an adult.
yeah, like an adult. You're right about that.
Patrick, did you have a similar rude awakening? Transitioning
No,
from
I
child?
always kind of knew what was expected. When I turned into an adult, I knew that I wouldn't have to do the schooling, which I really loved. Because one of my pet peeves about being a child actor was it's literally the same job as an adult actor, but we also have to go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like
And
extra.
so it's like, yeah, it's like, Todd did a Little House. You know what it's like.
Oh,
On
yeah.
Little House, it would be like, oh, your pa died or your mom burned up. Now go do algebra.
Yes, it was. It was.
And so when I started doing I had a period right in my late teens while Todd was still working. I kind of wasn't. And then I got a couple of movies that we did. I did Summer School. I did an independent movie called Terminal Entry, which is like this little budget, no budget movie. And Heathers. And so it was right after that. And because they were low budget, they really didn't have the money to go over time.
Gotcha.
Okay.
You know, so like it was still not that bad. But on JAG, yeah, we would shoot, we called it Just Another Grand is what JAG stood for, because that's what the forced calls are. You get $1,000 if you're forced, meaning like if they call you in 12 hours before 12 hours after they release you, you get a forced call.
Gotcha.
And so on JAG, the first season, I was making a lot of money because we were being called in, way, way early, and we worked a lot.
Hey, going back to that, you were saying you were in the same school as Jason Bateman. Was that one of those schools on the lot, or was that like a school outside of?
It was a school outside of it. It's kind of this really, I don't know where. I think he went to school with Marcus off in Birmingham. Was it?
Oh yeah, who, me?
Yeah.
No. I hung out with Marcus at Birmingham. See, I finished school early.
Okay.
I took 2 years and 1 year, 11th and 12th. So I got out when I was like 16. I was 16 going turning 17. I was done with school. And so Marcus went to Birmingham, so I went and hung out with him all the time.
So I guess what I'm wondering
always thought that.
is like, okay, so when you were filming the show, you would do school on set, but when it was not filming time, would you just like go to a different school?
I went to Hollywood Professional. I don't know where everybody else went.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a place called Valley Professional.
Yes, there was another one that was for the actors. Because if you're going to a regular school, they're not going to let you have that many absences from working. That's not going to happen. So, but these schools were designed for actors to go to school.
So it was like a school existed that you could go to if you weren't doing it on set right now.
Yes.
Okay.
But they were
like-
also,
but
at least
they
mine
knew if you
was
left,
with Valley
they were fine with
Professional. It was also a 3-hour school because you only went to school for 3 hours.
Yeah, Janet
on the
Jackson
set.
was there too, right? She went to Valley Professional.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Janet was there.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman went there, Rad Daly, Jason, myself, my brother, and then we had like Brian Boitano and ice skaters also.
Yeah,
went there.
Todd talks about
I
being
went to
an ice
school
skater.
with Dorothy Hamill went to my school, and so did Mackenzie Phillips went to my school.
Right.
They went to mine. It was
Is
in
that the
Hollywood.
one on Highland?
Yeah, no, it was on. It was let's see, what's that street? It was on Sunset. It was on Sunset down by Van Ness, I think it was. It was a big building.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's a it turned into a regular school, and now it's torn down to, I guess it's a media center or something like that now.
I wonder if that's is that still how they do it? Or do they just have like,
I don't know if Valley Professional is still there.
do
You think it's still there?
these like professional schools still exist though?
Well, it's usually, the good part about it is they let, like I said, you can't take all those absences at a regular school.
It makes sense, and that you would have like a shorter schedule, and it must have been so odd too, because you'd be like, we'd have all these kids, and then like it would shift. Somebody would get a job, and then it would be like they're not here for weeks upon weeks.
Oh yeah.
Like it'd be really.
And we had
interesting.
teachers. It's like we had the same teacher on different strokes. We had in the beginning, because we were all around. We had the same teacher, and then as me and Dana progressed to high school, we couldn't have our teacher because he couldn't teach us that anymore. So we had to get another teacher for us.
Did they ever have a thing like if you're like all the kids at Universal would all go to the same one, or it was show specific?
Yeah, it was show specific, honey. You had your own teacher on each show.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a different. It was they would.
I was talking to Jill Whalen and Glenn Scarpelli, and they said that with Lorimar and all of the guys over there were, in that area, that they had like a little cluster of buildings that was kind of like a school together. Did you ever go to any of those?
No,
buildings?
but Glenn Scarpelli was on our lot too, though, because it was all owned by Tandem Productions.
Right.
So he was on that lot too, but we all had our individual teachers. I mean, but we all did it in the same kind of building. We all had a building, and every teacher was like, we were in different rooms. So you would walk out of your room, school room,
So yeah,
and
so
you'll
it was
see
like
another,
a regular high school like that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a
That
regular
makes
high school. It was just like we had a big building, and you walk out and you can see Glenn's walking out or Janet's walking out from Good Times. Somebody's walking out always somewhere, and you're like, hey, you start talking.
So they probably had you do it by show so that it would match better to the schedule of like the show.
Well,
so
yeah,
that
because
you
every show
could,
had a different schedule.
yeah, you kids could go,
I had a fun time.
That's
though.
crazy.
It was
It's like a
fun.
whole other lifestyle.
Well, it was back in the day when I can go to a regular high school. I'd go to a high school, and the teacher was like, okay, as long as you do the work and don't talk, you can stay in class. So I used to sit in the class and do the work because I already had done that work. I just sit there and keep, redo it over again. It was fun. So I got to hang out with the girls and stuff there.
So I have a question for you guys, and I know the answer is yes. So I just really want the story. It was, did you ever get into trouble on set or sneak off when you weren't supposed to?
No,
I'd be willing to bet the answer was yes.
No, I never
No,
did.
Betty wouldn't let him.
Are you
get
kidding me?
into-
My mom would have killed me. My mom would have killed. I'd have been dead, man.
Okay,
Betty
so you wouldn't
Betty-
sneak
I
off.
remember Betty is obviously Todd's mom.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Betty, and I don't know what it is about black moms versus white moms, but black moms can be the sweetest and the scariest all in the same
Oh yeah,
sentence.
yeah, it's true.
And so, yeah, Betty, and my mom was like that as well. She
Yeah.
was like, you're here for work. You're not going to get into trouble.
Yeah.
It was, you kind of knew that was what was what.
Yeah.
So you saved the troublemaking for just you and Gary, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something interesting. It was like one time when I was on Fish, I walked by this room and these kids are throwing oranges at the window, right? And they blamed me, and my mom says, oh, I know it wasn't Todd. And that's the face she gave, was like, I know it wasn't him because I would kill him. And it wasn't me, it was them. And I didn't want to rat them out. Finally, they told the truth. My mom was like, you lucky it wasn't you because I'd have beat I was like, yeah, I know you would have. So that wasn't me. I was like, I ain't doing that. My mom would kill me. I was more afraid of my mom. It was like, if I got in trouble anywhere else, if the police officer said, I'm taking you to your mom, I'd be like, no, please don't do that.
Take me to jail.
Just lock me up. Don't let me out. Throw away the key, but don't take me to my mom.
So how did being a child actor shape what you kind of thought real life was supposed to be like, do you think, for you two?
Let Patrick answer that one.
Well, I mean, obviously, my viewpoint was completely, skewed because within the industry, then you have the other second set of issues, which is what type of show were you on? Who were you on? Like Todd had other kids on his show, which was good. We had other kids on our show, Little House, and we had Michael Landon, who was a really, Todd knows, I mean, just like a great guy that ran a great show.
Yeah.
So as far as the business aspect of it, it really taught us how to be professional and how to, kind of like know what to do in order to get the job done. In the personal side, we were really sheltered. I mean, my brother and I were super sheltered. I imagine Todd too, because I mean, between Roots and like Diff'rent Strokes and like, you couldn't go anywhere without we would go out to, when we were older, we'd go to Westwood and it would be my brother, Todd, and I. And, it wasn't Beatlesque or Elvis, but it was like, you could just tell everyone knew exactly who you were. And when that's going on, it's awesome, except it never converted to the girls that I really wanted to go out with. It just sort of converted into attention that was like, we didn't have cell phones, but we had everybody watching us,
I can't say that, Patrick. It did convert to the girls I wanted to go out with.
Oh my God.
No, I'm sure it was different for Todd. Todd was quite the ladies' man.
I had a lot of girls in that days.
Oh,
my
Todd.
favorite was going, but I'm glad they didn't have like TikTok and Facebook. If it would have had that, I would have been in real trouble.
Yeah, you would have been like in trouble.
I would have had
is
kids
the
everywhere.
right word.
I'd have thousands of kids everywhere for sure. I used to do those golf tournaments with what's her I can't think of Christy. No. Philip
McKeon?
Philip McKeon. I used to do a lot of those things with Philip McKeon. And oh my gosh, you go out of town doing a golf tournament and you sleep with at least 4 or 5 girls before you got home.
Oh
That's just how
gosh,
it was.
it's so gross.
Sorry, honey. Hey. I was a player, baller.
I know. When we were dating, I did the math. I just took just a general idea and did some math, and I was like, it's thousands. Todd's body count is.
My body count is 2, honey. You're the second one.
It's thousands
Right
and
answer. That's the
thousands
right
and
answer.
thousands. It's terrible. It's terrible. Really.
Yeah, all of my fans were Little House fans.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, can we hold hands?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, I had such a great time when I was on Little House. I'll never forget. Like you said, Michael Landon was amazing, man. He just was great.
I'm glad we're going to talk about him because he is my favorite. I was a little, Little House was still on, but I loved Highway to Heaven, man.
Yeah.
That I'm a little bit younger, and that was a show I remember watching, and I just loved Michael Landon so much.
Yeah, he was such a nice guy to me on that show. I had a really good time on the show with him.
I remember asking Todd, okay, was he really as nice in person? Because I was like, please tell me he was, because
He was very nice.
I love him so much, and I really
blessed
wanted him to
have
be
had
nice.
Every adult that I worked with, except for one, every adult was the nicest people in the world that I've ever worked with. The one that was the absolute worst was, and I'm going to say it, Henry Fonda, because he's no longer here. I did a bicentennial commercial in 1976. I did a bicentennial commercial with Henry Fonda, 1776, that kind of commercial. And we were a bunch of little kids. And at first, it's so funny because in the beginning of it, they go, okay, we have someone beating a drum, someone blowing a flute, someone carrying the flag, right? And they were like, okay, wait. Do not let Todd beat the drum. That's too stereotypical. They go, let Todd carry the flag. So I was carrying the flag. We were falling down this hill because it was like a bunch of cow patties and holes and stuff, and we were falling. And he turned around and goes, you mother effing kids, god dang, you get it right. I don't want to be all effing day. And we're like, ooh! We all start crying. We're like 8 years old. We start crying and stuff, and then they say, well, you got to apologize, because our parents were going to take us home at that point. We were taking them home. And then they go, well, you got to apologize to him or they're going to leave. So he finally comes over to us and he goes, sorry, and walks away. And we're like, he's mean. He was mean, very mean. Did you have that experience with anybody?
I didn't have that experience with anybody. I mean, I did an episode of Starsky and Hutch, and I was a huge Starsky and Hutch fan. I did this two-parter called The Plague, where
Oh, wow.
I
I
get
probably I'm
bubonic
sure I saw it.
plague. And so I have a scene with Starsky and Hutch where I'm in the hospital bed and they have a conversation above me while I'm in the bed saying, okay, we're going to go get the bad guy and you're going to go here and I'm going to go there. And then they leave the room, right? Well, it was at a period of time when Starsky and Hutch weren't getting along as sometimes number ones and number twos
Oh,
don't.
no.
And so you'd have to tell both of them that the other one was already on set before the other one would leave their trailer, like to get to the trailer. So it was like all these AD games that they had to play to get these guys to the set. So one of the things they had to do was because I'm unconscious, is we did the rehearsal with their stand-ins. And then they put me under, they, put the air in my nose and they did all the stuff that, I'm pretending I'm asleep. And then they got them to set, they shot the scene, they leave, and I never met them.
Oh man.
I could hear them talking above me. I could smell them, but I never had my eyes open because I'm unconscious and I never got to meet them.
No.
And it's like, it wasn't that they were mean to me, but it was like it was just such a ridiculous situation that they had created that I didn't get to meet Starsky or Hutch.
That is crazy.
Oh man.
That's
that would
funny, though,
stink that you're
crazy.
like in one of the takes, you're like, open one eye. Can I see that?
Right. Well, I thought for sure afterwards,
Yeah, they would stop and say hello to you. Yeah.
Right. And nope, they went straight back to their trailer and they go, okay, that was right before lunch and they were happy enough to get it, so they moved on.
Oh, what a bummer.
So you never got
That
that
does
suck
stink.
not to get to meet him. That would really be awful.
Yeah.
You didn't get to meet Starsky and Hutch.
I've heard
Yeah,
of
but
that show.
but the Henry Fonda thing, I just had Charlotte Stewart, who's on A Little House Plays Ms. Beadle. She tells a story about him too, that he was a real like stick up his butt type of guy.
Can you
that's
tell us
interesting.
any stories about Michael Landon? You worked with him a lot. Todd worked with
Oh
him
my
that
gosh.
one time.
It
but-
was he was a kid's dream because he
Yeah.
was basically, I mean, he was a kid himself at heart. He loved to play practical jokes. He loved to laugh. He had a crazy laugh. He'd like to, make faces and try to crack you up after the scene was done because he was the one producing and writing it. So he didn't want to waste time or money. But he would he would do these things where there was this script supervisor who's this lady who was maybe about 3 feet tall, 5 feet tall, tiny, and she had this huge script. The supervisors have the scripts and they have all the notes and everything, and it was a Western, so it was leather covered and it was big, and then she had her little chair had 2 satchels for extra scripts and all the pens and pencils. So it was like a whole lot of stuff to take and carry around. And she wouldn't let any of the crew carry it for her. She was always like dragging it from set to set. So Michael started to throw little rocks inside her bag. Until by the end of the day, it was about like weighted down with like 10 pounds of rocks.
Oh,
and
no.
she's like, going, I'm getting so old, I can't carry this thing around anymore.
That's hilarious.
Oh gosh.
I have to tell you, hey, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, wow.
If you could go back in time right now, what would you tell your younger self?
Enjoy it because there's going to be 1,000 ups and downs, and it's not about you.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably the same thing I would do.
Yeah, was there a time when you guys realized that, being famous was actually going to be harder than you thought it would be?
Yeah, oh yeah, for me, definitely. Definitely. I didn't realize, see, and for me, it's like being famous and then, like I said, driving to work every day and getting pulled over every day for me. I would have just rather have been like, like a garbage man or something, where I wasn't famous. I could just be driving, without anybody knowing who I was.
Yeah.
I think the problem, it's like
Well,
even
it was your car, dude. Didn't you have like
it was my car, yeah.
3 Series all the time?
I had a BMW, and they didn't like that at all.
No.
So
How
that's
about
what
you,
it was.
Patrick?
Like I said, my mom had us on lockdown so much that it wasn't the only time I was really let out was for events that were show related. So it was kind of like being famous was part of why I was there.
Yeah.
What was harder was when you're not famous or you're not working and you're still recognized. This happened a lot. My son, who is now 24, I did a TV show, Jag, and that was in his early years. And then when he got older, we'd go to Disneyland or we'd go, we'd be out and about, and people come up to you and they go, "Oh, hey, I know you." And you're like, "Oh, well, I'm an actor." And they go, "What were you in?" And you go, "Oh, I was in Little House on the Prairie." "No, that's not it."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
"No, that's not
what
it."
they always
And then
say,
you
yes.
list off your entire resume.
Yeah, and they still don't know that's not it. Yeah.
And it's like they're discounting every single
Yep.
thing you've done, but they're the one who recognized
yeah,
you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't even, how do you deal with that? And it does hurt my feelings, because it's sort of like, it's not the fame that I'm craving. I don't want to be recognized and treated different,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to have someone recognize me and then just sort of diss my entire career.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that is rough, man.
I got to tell you about an experience I had at Patrick's house. So I'm coming over to visit Patrick and him for the first time. They don't tell me they have these giant dogs. They don't tell me about these giant dogs. Thank goodness that I'm black and fast at that time, not fast anymore. So I go to Patrick's house, and they didn't put them back. They usually put them away in the back, I guess. And I go and ring the doorbell, and all of a sudden I hear, boom, 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 boom. I turn around and I look and I see these giant dog.
Oh, they were
It
outside.
was a massive.
They were coming up
Yeah,
to you
they were
while you're
running
waiting
at me,
for
not
the
coming-
door.
they were coming to kill me.
I thought they were going to be
No,
inside.
they were coming to kill me, but thank
No.
goodness I'm fast enough that I was over that gate before he had a chance to even get anywhere close to me.
Oh my gosh, you keep bringing up
Did
things.
you
that
have
are
two, Patrick, or one?
We just had one, but he was so big, and he was probably coming to drool on you more than anything, but he's scary as hell.
Yeah.
He bit Brody Greer.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, because Brody put his hand over the gate and was like playing with him, but he had sunglasses on and he'd never seen him before.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
bad idea.
That is crazy, man. That's reminding me. There's been several things we've talked about that remind me of that movie that we watched last night. So we were just on a trip, Patrick, and I was talking about the Lady Gaga "A Star Is Born"
Oh my
movie that
gosh.
came
Talk
out
about hilarious.
recently, and I didn't realize it was a remake.
Yeah, she thought it was okay.
And
She goes, but this is what she said. She goes, I go, yeah, the Stars Born. I say we should watch the original Stars Born. She goes, what are you talking about? The Lady Gaga is the original Stars Born. I go, no, it's not, honey.
And actually, we found out after we watched the one with
There's one even further back.
There is an even older
yeah,
one.
even older one.
So
Yeah,
we
with Judy
watched
Garland and
Yeah.
James Mason.
We
Yes,
watched
and-
the Barbara Streisand one last night, and
Yeah.
they have the dogs that would come up and
Yeah.
it was making me think of that. And then also him being recognized just anywhere he would go.
Yeah.
So that was been coming to mind several times as we've been.
I was so sleepy
talking
last night.
today.
I had driven the other day. I drove to LA, then we drove to San Francisco for my auntie's 90th birthday party. And
wow.
then we drove back, and then I drove from there back to here, Arizona, and I'm like completely just tired. Now I got to
He's
leave
fried.
again. It's crazy.
He basically drove to San Francisco and back
Yeah.
last weekend.
Yes.
So
There's no easy way from Arizona. You got to come over and
Yeah.
up. It just takes forever.
And I would have got a plane ticket, but they wanted like $900. I'm like, no way am I
well,
doing
you
$900.
probably should have booked your ticket a little quicker,
Yeah,
a little
well,
sooner. But that's okay.
I took time, you know.
This way, you got to ride with your brother and sister.
I did. That was a lot of fun. I got to ride with Jimmy and Verda.
Road
and
trip.
that was
good.
It was the greatest road trip.
How
of our
are they?
lives. They're doing really good. We had a really good time together, all of us. We were laughing about all the stuff in the old days and all that. So we had a good time.
How did you get
I
started?
was telling you,
Oh,
I
go
was
ahead.
telling you, Jimmy, I was on the freeway and like this gangbanger driving a car like he'd just stolen it was honking at me and waving at me until he finally holds up his headshot and it's James.
Yeah.
And it's like he was going up for a gangbanger. So
He was, so he's
like a
dressed as one.
gangbanger.
Yeah.
He was driving his car.
Yeah.
And it was like, it looked like he'd stolen it.
Yeah.
He was trying to get my attention to wave to say hi.
That's so funny. How did you get into acting, Patrick?
Yeah, I'm curious to find out how he got into it.
Well, my mom and dad, my brother and I are adopted. And so we're adopted different bloodlines. We're not related biologically. But my mom is an actress and she was in comedy and she toured with Tommy Dorsey.
Oh, wow.
And both my brother is on the spectrum and I was kind of like a freaked out little kid because I was adopted when I was like 9 months old. And so I'd had like 5 different, so I was super, super like terrified of people. So my mom said, well, let's put you on stage. That'll solve it. And she did. She was doing these shows where they would have like this kind of variety show afterwards. So she put together like this little comedy act for my brother and I. And it kind of started me. We were real little. And I had done a couple of print ads when I was like 3 years old that I had just gone in with my mom on her auditions. And then you get the gig that way.
Yeah.
And then an agent, I don't know, where were you? I was with Herb Tannen and Collie.
I was with Mary Grady Agency.
Okay, Mary Grady. Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 of us.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so back then, commercials were such a big deal for little kids that that's what we did.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I got all my, I got the first commercial I did where I was the principal in it was because they hired me as the backup, and it was for Bonus Detergent, where they were going to get grass and blood stains out of white pants. And this was like back in the days when there were like lots of rules and like laws.
Oh yeah.
So that if they couldn't do the actual cleaning, then they had to have another kid, which was me, in khaki pants, and then they could get the stain out of the khaki pants. So I got the job because I was the one that fit the khaki pants.
Well, yeah, that's interesting how you talk about that. Yeah, it goes way back. My first commercial that I ever did was we did a United Airlines commercial with actually Carl Weathers, the guy who played Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And it was a family. And then the second commercial we did was a Jello brand Jello commercial before the Bill Cosby commercials. We did ours. Was like, Betty Bridges of San Francisco, like Jello brand Jello. And we said, yes. And my line was, can I have some more, Mom? That was it.
And your mom played your mom?
Yeah, she played my mom in it. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you both
Did
started.
you ever hear the Carl Weathers story about how he got Rocky?
No, I haven't heard that one.
He goes in and he reads, and he gives a reading, and he wasn't happy with the read. And he goes, look, I could have done a lot better if I had a real actor to play against instead of this casting guy.
Oh, no.
And they go, well, actually, that's Sylvester Stallone. He wrote it. And he's going to be playing Rocky.
Yes. No. Yeah. That's hilarious. Actually, really funny. Yeah, because investors talk slow as Rocky. Yeah,
crime don't pay.
Yeah. I actually like him a lot in the Tulsa series. He's good.
Yeah,
in that.
Tulsa King's good.
Yeah, he's good in that. Yeah.
I'm a big Sly fan. I mean,
too.
He was always fun to watch and always, look, he also wrote. And
Did you ever see the movie Fist? He was really good in Fist.
Yeah. That was amazing. The one right after.
Yeah, he plays
Rocky.
a union boss. Yeah, he was good in that.
So you guys both started pretty young. Did either of you struggle to figure out who you were going to be like outside of acting? Like, because it was such a big part of your growing up.
Literally, I just figured it out like about 5 years ago. And that's kind of sounds like a joke, but it's not. What had happened was I was on a TV show called Jag, and the character that I played was this really affable, nice guy. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I'm a nice guy, but I'm not exactly the way the character was. But on the show, because I played it for 10 years, I played that guy. Mm-hmm. I met my wife on that show. So my wife knew me as that guy. And I kind of became that guy for about 10 years. And when the show was over, I tell the story where I would come home, and for like a couple of years after that, one night, my wife says, what's wrong with your leg? And I go, what are you talking about? She goes, you've been limping around the house all night. And we couldn't figure it out because nothing was wrong with my leg, but I was limping. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then I would forget about it and I would start limping again. And it turns out that on the show Jag, they blew my leg off. and in order to play the character, I figured, okay, I'll do the method thing. And whenever I get to the stage, whenever I get to work, I'll limp like this guy so that I never forget to do it. And so it was something that I carried like 3 years after the show with me, where I was still limping, even though it would happen when I would get tired, even though it wasn't anything wrong with me. It was just sort of like something that I'd built in. And it started to get my wheels moving, thinking, well, what else if I'm carrying around with this guy?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in answer to your question, you know, I'm a lot more sarcastic and acerbic than this character ever was. But at that period of my life, I really wasn't. Um, so it was interesting. As far as growing up in the business, I think, you know, I had a good enough run of different types of roles where I never felt like I was stereotyped. I never felt like, you know, I had a lot of good opportunities, so I never felt like I was fighting against anything. Um, which, you know, it's super helpful. I mean, not to have to battle like that. I will say though, and I think Todd will agree, the weirdest part of this business is you can be on a show for 10 years and then that be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's the bad part about it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not. I
Right.
don't
It's like
think
any other
that-
job, you
Oh,
take that and go, well, look, this guy's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah. But the interesting part about it is it doesn't seem like it's that way right now. It seems like if you're on a TV show, you go off and you do all these other movies, playing all these different characters. That and it seems like
Right.
it changes now.
The industry's
but
changed,
I are you telling me that my father isn't white? I'm not Willis
No,
Jackson.
sorry,
No, I'm
dude.
kidding.
I'm like, what are you saying?
She doesn't get
don't
that I
know
was talking
what
about
you're
different strokes.
Mr.
See how lost she
Mr.
is?
Drummond.
She's never watched the show.
No, but
bro.
I think that was so
she never saw
fascinating.
the show. She didn't even know who I was.
Yeah, I know, I didn't. But
She watched Happy Days instead.
I
the
didn't
white
have.
show. She didn't
In
watch the
my
black show.
defense, I did not have control of the controller. I was just a kid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
sure.
Kids didn't get to pick what was on the TV.
Your dad knew who I was, and your mom knew who I was. All their friends know who I am, just not her.
Oh yeah.
I think you're being played. I think she knows who you are.
You think I'm being played?
So I didn't. Yeah, I actually went and looked at the Wikipedia page.
Oh, that's not.
in,
no, that's a
in
great
the
thing to
Burbank
read.
airport when I was after I met you and was flying home. I was like, what is this show anyway? And I went and like read the Wikipedia page. And I actually remember when I was reading the premise of it, I was like, wait, this doesn't even sound like a show that would really like the white savior kind of aspect of it. I was like, wow, this is like really like, oh, it felt
the
a
white
little bit
savior.
like I was surprised they'd even made a show that was
No,
like
that
that.
shit was a big hit.
I know, but it was like just
And
a
the
ten-
weird part about it, not that it's wrong, but it's weird only in retrospect, is that it wasn't weird. It was like, oh,
yeah,
that's
it
a
wasn't
story.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a couple of kids that this guy's gonna like, you know, help out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't even think about it.
No, we didn't. But I told you we had hate mail in the beginning from both sides. So.
Well, it just shows the change that's happened, like in our culturally. That as I read that, I was like, whoa.
Well, now
And
all
then-
these actors are adopting black kids. There's so many actors who've adopted black kids.
Well,
Right?
Yeah.
I want to talk a minute about what Patrick was saying about the method acting too, because Todd's told me about
Yeah, I
that.
don't do method
The
acting.
difference between
Yeah.
like method acting and what's the other acting called?
Just regular acting.
Regular
Yeah,
acting?
well,
Yeah, I'm not
method
a
acting-
fan of method actors.
Yeah, well, some
Yeah.
of them are
of
like
the process, because it's sort
Yeah.
of like it can be very damaging emotionally.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like
that's
it,
what
but
happened
you-
to Heath Ledger. Remember Heath Ledger got so crapped up in it, he ended up, taking medication to try to get out of it. But I remember I heard a story from a friend of mine who was on the set of the one that Jay Leto did with Denzel Washington. I forgot what that was called. That movie
Jay
where
Leno?
no Jared Leto. Jared Leto.
Oh, Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jay Leto. Jared Leto and Denzel Washington. And I remember Denzel told Jared Leto, he's like, "Hey man, don't be when you're talking to me, don't be doing that freaking method stuff. You better talk to me like who you are," because he didn't want that happening like that. Because people carry that home to their wives and stuff, man. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
people
Right.
carry that stuff all away.
What
they don't
was
get out of
it?
it.
How was it different? Like when you were on JAG and you made that choice because you wanted to do the limping, which I think makes so much sense. But what was different about that? Like that you're like, I kind of went into the math. I'm just trying to understand how it works.
Sure. What I explain it like this to my students, where the method is the idea that you live the life of the character so that you're never out of character. But the issue then is, I hope that character has a good life.
You're right,
Because
yeah.
your life is going to be hell.
Yeah.
And with my choice about that, I didn't even think about it in the method way. I just thought about it as a practical way of like, because, Todd will tell you, series television, sometimes you don't know what episode you're on.
No.
Just because it's the same characters, the same sets, the same everything. So in order for me to make sure that I was doing the physicality. I just figured every time I was there, I would do the physicality and then I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And it grew into some part of my brain that's what I do, because again, we had long days that's what happens when I get tired. I did one scene in the show where I'm supposed to lose my child in childbirth, and I break down and I cry. And I had just had my son, and I go, oh, well, this is easy. I'll just picture my son dying, which was the worst thought ever. I will never do that again. I can't, it's like, I wish I could take it back, because you don't want to have that thought out there.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my two experiences with it. I think it's a great exercise to kind of see what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes for a period of time. But like you're saying, like with Heath Ledger or with Jared Leto, like sending all these gifts to people as the Joker, it's kind of like you're just being a jerk at some point.
Yeah. So Todd's spoken pretty openly about his addiction and recovery, and he talks about how the parties back then would be pretty crazy and drugs prevalent. Patrick, what was your perspective growing up around that world too?
It's just like the girls. I never had an opportunity to go to those parties. In fact, it was, my brother was in a movie called King of the Gypsies, which shot in New York, and it starred Eric Roberts as like a young gypsy king.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my brother played Eric Roberts as a kid. And so I went to visit him in New York, and all of the girl that played his sister was Danielle Brisbois.
Oh,
right?
yes, Danielle.
And so Danielle was in Annie. And so Annie, we would go see Annie like 5 times a day and then hang out with the girls and then go to the set. And one night we all went to Studio 54 back in the 70s when it was like Studio 54.
Yeah.
So I guess you can't get any more drug havened than Studio 54.
Yeah.
But again, the 70s were weird.
Yeah.
And we were there with the girls from Annie. And so it was sort of like everyone, as debauched as it was, kind of wanted to protect us no matter who they were. Yeah. So nothing bad happened. I didn't see anything weird. I mean, I saw a lot of weird things, but not like anything that I felt like I was in danger. Yeah. I remember there were people both Todd and I know, where they would be strung out and you would just go, oh, I can't be around this person because it's a slow process that it drags you into it. And then you're part of something that you had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many people that I look back that we've lost to addiction that are in the business, that were in the business. And it's just like, it's an awful thing to see, like I am truly blessed to still be alive, to even have 32 years of sobriety. I'm blessed to still be
Good
here,
for
man,
you, man,
and not to be dead.
No, and it's true because it's like I said, for better or worse, we were, my brother and I were protected by my mom to the point where nothing went.
That's how it was for me until I turned 18 and I got away from my mom. That's when all the trouble started.
And here's the big secret, and it's not something that's great, was when we turned 18, sure, we had our trust funds, I had a car, I could go and do what I needed to do, or, go out and party or be whatever. However, my dad was really, really sick, like to the point where he would go into emergency and to the hospital like every 6 weeks because of kidney failure and a heart failure and a whole bunch of other things that we had no idea of what was going on. So we were always on constant dad watch. Yeah. So it's like if I would go out, I would want to be home as soon as I could in case something happened to dad.
Yeah, makes
sense.
Which,
is a huge emotional anchor. Yeah. I mean, for all the right reasons, but it's really sad.
Yeah.
But it kept me from those parties, after after they say, okay, kids, time's to go home, and the adults are going to party, I would go home.
Yeah. Well,
I stayed and partied.
Yes, we know you did, darling. Well, Patrick, thank you for joining us.
Much,
we always conclude the show with our ToddFlix pick, and we'd love to have you join us. Maybe you've seen it.
Okay, I've been today. I'm talking about a show on Netflix called Havoc. Have you seen it yet?
No, what is it?
Havoc is with
movie.
Tom Hardy, Forrest Whitaker. I will say this: it is the most violent cop movie I've seen in my entire life.
Yeah, I have not seen it.
Yeah, you couldn't handle
because
it,
I
honey.
don't like the super violent type stuff.
Okay, when
But
I
they
first,
said Tom Hardy basically punches his way through the entire city.
yes, he punches his way through the. He kills his way through the entire city. And I was like, I'm watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it was good, but it was so. I mean, even I was like, them to go, wow, oh, they just killed 10 people over there. You know what I mean? It was so crazy, but it's a fun roller coaster ride. And you got Forrest Whitaker. You got
Timothy.
who else is in it?
Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, yeah, Timothy Oliphant. Yes, that guy plays the bad guy. And then, but the fact that you have Forrest Whitaker and Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy's an amazing actor. He's an amazing actor. And in this, he's amazing too.
It's from writer-director Gareth Evans, too.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
And it was just released on Netflix, I think in April of this year.
and I saw it the first day it was released. I watched it, and I was very impressed with it.
The other thing is it's like a British, right? Isn't there like a British aspect to it? Because they said it was a collaboration between
Well, no, it's not. There's no because it
nobody
takes
with
place
a
in
British
America.
accent.
No, but it's Asian people in it. A lot of Asian accents in it, so it's Asian people. So it's
Yeah.
different. But it was like Asian turf war. You know, it's hard to explain. I don't want to.
What city
give
is
the
it
plot
in?
away? It's in New York.
It takes place in New York.
I don't want to give the plot away, so you have to watch it to see. But it's like amazing. It's an amazing ride.
Awesome.
But next week I'll be talking about my next show. I'll be talking about the show Mobland. Mobland. I'm talking about that. That's
Mobland.
on Amazon Prime, and that's Tom Hardy too. And that's
You're not
pretty
supposed
amazing.
to give away the next ToddFlix.
Well, I'm going to talk about it when I see it. You know. Cut
Why
off,
would you do that?
Just blurb it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Just do that.
That's it. We can't do it next week. You'll
But
have
if,
to
if
wait.
you haven't seen it, you got to see it. You got to see this Havoc. You got to
Check it out.
You'll like it a lot. Like I said, if you're into violent, crazy movies that are fun movies, I like action movies always.
So I will
and this is an
pass.
action show.
But
Yes.
you might
There's
like
another
it, Patrick.
great movie on Netflix that I found. It was a girl action movie called Gunpowder Milkshake. Which
Oh, I
thought
already
was
watched
really
that. It was good.
Gunpowder
Yeah.
Milkshake?
Yeah, and that's the same girl that plays. She plays the robot girl, not robot girl, but the half alien in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Karen
Okay, well,
Gillan.
Yes.
And she was
How-
also on Doctor Who.
Yes.
How violent is it? Because I
Wait,
can watch
she was in
like
Doctor Who?
Gun violent.
I didn't know that girl was in Doctor Who. I didn't
Yeah,
know
she
that.
was she was the I think not the Impossible Girl, but she was Rory in when it was Matt what's his name?
Is she British? She's British?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'm going to check it out.
So have you seen Blind Spot?
Yeah.
Or Blacklist? I can handle those. Can I handle this one, the milkshake one?
Yeah, it's more like
No, she can't handle the
than
milkshake.
like
She can't handle the
gross.
milkshake.
What
It's-
is?
it's-
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Wait, what's it called again? Gunpowder Milkshake?
Gunpowder and
And
Milkshake.
you don't think I can? I
No.
can?
It's very violent,
Well.
too. They play assassins, honey.
I know, but we've watched lots of assassin
Okay,
shows.
then we-
I
then we
used to
watch
watch
this.
like none of this.
Yeah, she couldn't handle anything.
It's like
I know.
Spy Kids, her most gross like
yeah,
action.
that's her.
And I
her
really don't
action
even
movies.
like Spy Kids.
What?
I'm a pretty solid rom-com chick flick
Yeah,
kind
the
of
fake
person.
love, the fake loved ones. The fake loved ones. Like this is how
Okay.
the white picket fence. This is how and it never actually happens that way
Oh,
with the white
okay.
picket fence.
Except for I love crime shows. Like I love JAG. I love CSI. I love Law and Order. I love Rookie.
Well, we also watch.
So cop shows, Chicago PD.
Well, Chicago PD is good.
Yes.
That's a good show. So
those are the ones we can agree on. But basically, Todd refuses to watch any chick flicks with me. So
I can't.
I
It's
just-
torture.
Have you seen?
It's like
I'm a
nails on a
big fan of
chalkboard
the
for me.
Tom Cruise movie Night and Day with Cameron Diaz.
That was a good. She would like
have
that.
I seen that?
I
Yeah,
think you like
she
that.
would
It's like
like that
got
one,
romance and action.
Yeah, she would like.
I
that
really
one.
liked the Tom Cruise one you showed me where he was the pilot with the drug.
Oh,
running.
America Made. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
have you seen that? It's old.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
I was laughing because it's like, oh, you showed me the movie where Tom Cruise is a pilot. Oh, then what could that be?
Yeah. He's a
no,
pilot.
Top
He's
Gun.
a pilot in real
You're
life.
right.
You know.
You're right. You're right. It
Yeah.
could have. Yeah, he probably was Top
Could have been
Gun.
Top Gun too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
true.
mean the one with the drug running.
Yes.
That's what I should have said.
Yes.
Well, Patrick, it's been great.
Thank you so much, man. And
You bet.
I appreciate it. Stay out of trouble.
Great to
We'll
talk
see you
with you
again.
guys.
And thank you guys so much. Please like and subscribe on Dang.
Yes, share it with a friend. Leave a comment.
Yes.
Help us get seen. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Dang is produced by my wife, Betty Jo Bridges, in collaboration with Star Worldwide Network Studios, and edited by our daughter, Adelie Ann.
She's also the musician responsible for our theme music, so go check out Adelie Ann wherever you stream your music. Have a question or topic you want us to cover? Send us your suggestions at dangpodcast.com.
Do me a favor. Please subscribe and rate our podcast to make it easier for others to find. Have a great week.